Hey friends, Michael here, licensed physio, total physical therapy, and today I want to talk to you about the pricing of physical therapy. I was recently in conversation with an individual that was very familiar with hospital-based PT pricing.
Let us note that the term hospital-based therapy does not imply therapy within the actual hospital. Rather, also includes all freestanding clinics that are merely under the ownership and management of the regional hospital system. As such, these freestanding clinics will carry similar pricing to the hospital itself. At times, these freestanding clinics will not carry the same name of the regional hospital system, making it difficult to identify this corporate connection.
And their comment was to the tune that physical therapy was way too expensive for the general public and therefore had recommendations on a number of other strategies that were quote-unquote cheaper. Now, this reminded me of a video that I did some years ago when I was discussing the hospital price transparency ruling. What it did is it openly forced hospitals to place their pricing directly on their websites. Some hospitals are easily digestible, you can go find your answers pretty cleanly, while others are not so much. So if you don't know the questions to ask, hopefully you'll have a little bit better insight by watching this video. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with a first visit with a therapist, it's very common and typical that you'll not only receive an examination, which lays the groundwork for everything that you'll do with your therapist, but they also try to intervene by rendering some type of treatment on that first day. Now, all these individual things have charges associated with them that you would be responsible for. So don't just take my word for it. Let's pull some actual data. I went to a regional hospital's website and I pulled their 2023 data. Let's have a look. In this case, we've got a cash-paying, non-insured customer that had an evaluation and faced a charge of $253 for the examination, while they had a between $460 to $610 cost for the associated treatments. Don't know the exact cost because I don't know the exact treatments. So, as a rough estimation, on that first day of therapy, they were faced with a bill of $863. Now, for those of you familiar with physical therapy, you typically do not have just one session of therapy. There's usually a number of sessions spread out over a certain period of time. So what do those follow-up sessions look like in this facility? Well, for that non-insured individual, they are going to typically be exposed to a number of interventions. I've listed the 4 major ones here to give you a little bit more concise idea of what you would be faced with. We see those 4 interventions there all listed at various charge rates, bringing you to a grand total of a little north of $600 for your second and subsequent follow-up sessions. Now, if you are only at that second session, you are now roughly at about $1,500, and while your jaw might be dropping, the hospital oftentimes would come in and boldly say, well, we thank you and appreciate you so much that we're going to discount your rate by 70%. Now, I like to use this example to the tune of having a $300,000 house that you list for $5 million. You get nobody biting on your listed price, so you drop it to $2 million and say, I gave you a bold discount, dropping the price by $3 million. Well, unfortunately, you still have a $300,000 house, and that major discount still does not give you an opportunity to mark that up. Now, these are for cash-paying customers. What would an insured individual be exposed to if they went to the same regional hospital? By that ruling, they also have to list contracted rates. So I pulled just a few big players out of the big insurance pool to find that Aetna, in that day 1 visit, you would be faced with a $562 bill, Blue Cross $780, Cigna a big whopping $1,240.
I'm sorry, I thought I just heard you say $1,200. Wait, you did? Cigna? You mean like the Cigna that's my insurance? When's open enrollment?
United Healthcare $850, and what about you Medicare Advantage plan member beneficiaries? Well, in this case, with the Med Advantage plan through United Healthcare, you would be looking at a $600 bill for day 1. Let's dig into subsequent treatments, and you're going to see those costs sitting there ranging anywhere from about $380 upwards of just shy of $1,000 per visit. So again, Hospitals will oftentimes steeply discount cash paying rates. Unfortunately, they don't have that freedom to do the same thing with insurance contracted rates. So if you've got those high deductible plans and it's early in the year and you have to meet those deductibles, you're going to find that you are going to meet them very quickly with rates like this. Now, it's oftentimes in the beginning of the year when I get a multitude of phone calls from individuals that are in these situations. They find these very steep charges and they are calling to ask us what our rates are. As I've mentioned in videos in the past, I do work in the private sector where our rates are generally exponentially less than these stated charges here. And I would say a good estimation from one facility to the next would be that you're going to be seeing about 1/4 of those rates. Now, if you are unfamiliar with any and all of this, like the individual that I originally said in the very first example, it would be very reasonable to say these costs are crazy. But luckily, now you can understand that costs are not going to be the same across the board from one facility to the next. And if you make an even bigger comparison, if you look into the private practice world, you're going to find exponentially cheaper rates when it comes to therapy. So, private practices, much more realistic rates for individuals. If you have those high deductible plans, I would strongly recommend that be the first place that you start. Even if you've been told by a referral source that you have to go to the hospital-based clinic, know that they legally cannot do that. Legally, it is your right to choose anywhere you want to go. Once you get third-party payers in that mix, they oftentimes have bold strategies to force you into specific places. Again, it's illegal. It does happen. It will continue to happen. But the more you know, the more empowered you are to make your own educated decisions. If you found this information useful, pop that like button, ship me your comments down below. I absolutely love this subject matter because I love helping individuals get great quality care at affordable rates. As always, everybody, thank you for your precious time. Have a beautiful day, and we will talk to you guys soon.